students, and welcome to this video for Word Chapter 3 hands-on exercise number 1. So congratulations, you made it all the way through chapter number 1 and chapter number 2 of Word, and now we're working here on chapter number 3. So the goal is by the time we've gone through all 4 chapters of each subject that you're going to have a good in-depth understanding of each program and how to be able to use it, and also to be able to think through what steps are necessary for which projects. And so we're going to go into some new territory here in working with tables and such in this exercise. You need to open up first off your textbook to page 279 is where this exercise is, page 279, and then it says here, apparently all my email are going to come through. It says here that you are opening up W3H1 trailer. So you can open those up, or excuse me, open up that file this time. And I'm going to flip here to the next page, 280, and get started with step A. So it says to open up this file and then to save it as, this is all going to come through, save it as the same name, but of course you're adding on your name. Remember that when you first use save as, it's going to save it to whatever folder that you have it already in. So mine's in download. So when I go to change the name, I need to first select which folder I want. You're choosing your flash drive, I'm choosing a different folder. And so you got to choose which one first, and then change your name, or change the name of it. So I've just changed the location here, and now I'm saving it with my name added to it. Alright, step B of page 280. Click the View tab and ensure that the ruler is selected in the Show group. So if I go to the group, it says Show, and then it says Ruler, and I already have it checked. Most of the time I have this up because you do use it a lot. If you don't have it activated though, ensure that that box is checked. Then it says scroll through the document to view its contents. So I can scroll through. We've got a table of contents here, we've got some paragraphs, and then of course key findings on our last page with nothing on it. So apparently there are no key findings with this final report, or at least not yet. It says here press Control End to move to the end of the document. So I scrolled up, you can press Control End to do that. And that says type Table 1 shows the top industry sectors in which trailer university makes a difference in terms of economic impact. So type it in. I'm going to type it in on my screen. And then press Enter. So it should look like that with the text there. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see it a little bit better on your screen. Then it says step C, click the Insert tab. So I'm clicking Insert tab, choose Table, or excuse me, click Table in the Tables group. So you can see my Tables group is right here, and this is the icon for it, and I click on it. You're going to see here I have all these little squares here, kind of a grid. This is how I can select the number of columns and such. So this is what it's referring to with the table of it being organized here. Drag to select a 4-column by 5-row table. So I just move my mouse to hover it. Remember, columns are going up and down, rows are going left and right. So it says in our instructions here, drag to select a 4-column. So I have 4 columns. So you can see number 4 there, by 5-row table, so I could go down 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like this. And then it says click in the bottom right cell of the selection. So I'm going to click right here where I have it selected. You can see here my table will come up. And then it says step D, type sector and press tab. So you can see my insertion point is up here in the top cell. So anytime you create a table, each box in the table is referred to as a cell. Columns go up and down, rows go left and right. So I'm typing in sector, and then I push tab, and you'll notice when I push tab it goes to the next cell. I'm going to type in description, and then it says press tab and type category. and then I press tab and type economic impact. So you can see tab makes it go to the right. If I held down shift and push tab, it'll make it actually go backwards, so going to the left. So you can do that here. So right now I just typed that in. This is where my insertion point is. Then it says press tab, which moves it down here to the next row. Notice I didn't push enter. You have to push tab and it'll keep going through the different cells that way. I can push the up and down arrows and left and right to go to different cells, but you can't push enter to go to the next cell. So I push tab and it says type the following entries, tabbing between each item, but not tabbing after the last cell on the last row. Text will wrap where necessary in each cell. So the text is going to wrap, as in it's going to go to another line if necessary for whichever cell. So you can look at your textbook to see this. Otherwise, I'm going to type this in here. You can see it in your textbook. Double check your spelling when you're finished, and also your numbers. I'll move my mouse here so you can actually see everything as I type. Okay, so you can see here, I didn't push tab on the last cell, so it stays there. I've entered in the information. You can see when the line became too long for the cell, it wrapped to the next line, so that's what it's referring to there with text wrapping. So you enter in this info, and then we continue on to step F. So for step F, it says press Control and End. This will take us to the end of our document. Then it says type table 2 presents impact sources with a description of each. I have period and I push enter. It looks like though mine didn't have an enter or like another space in between here, so I'm actually going to push enter and move it down here. So if you have yours right under the table like I did, click in front of it, push enter, and then click back here before we insert the table. So it should look like this. That matches what it looks like in the textbook. Alright, so I'm going to click on the Insert tab. This is step G. I'm going to click Tables in the Table group, and it says here to click Draw Table. So we did Insert Table the way we did before. Now it says click Draw Table. The pointer, as you can see on my screen, appears as a pen tool. Drag a box approximately 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall using vertical and horizontal rulers as a guide. So I'm going to move it down here so I can see it a little better. So it says 6 inches wide, 4 inches tall. So I'm going to click up here, the top of the insertion point. I'm going to drag it. It says here 6 inches wide. So I'm going to go about right here, and then 4 inches tall. I started at about, it looks like 3 and almost a half. So I'm going to want to go to 7 and almost a half. It's about right here. And let me double check and make sure I got it right. 6 inches wide, which is good, and then about 4 inches tall, which is about this right here. And then you let go. Now it says here, draw one vertical grid line at 2 inches from the left to create 2 columns. So draw one vertical guide line 2 inches from the left. So 2 inches here. I'm drawing it. You'll notice it just, once I pull it along far enough, it becomes this dotted line. And there we go, I got my 2 columns there. And then it says the first column approximately 2 inches, the second 4 inches wide, so that's about right here. And then it says draw 3 horizontal grid lines to divide the table into 4 approximately even spaced rows of about 1 inch each. So we do want about right here. It looks like a little bit more like that. So approximately 1 inch. So I got 1 at the 4 mark. I got 1 a little bit after the 5 mark. So you're going to have to eye this up a little bit yourself. 1 after the 6 mark. And there you go. It should look something like this. Now something that did happen when I drew it is you'll notice it went and it took and moved the text here down to the bottom. Don't worry about that just yet. We're going to finish the table first and then we'll get to actually move the text back up where it should be. Alright, we're in step H now. It should look something like this. Click the eraser in the draw group. So here's my draw group right up here. I'm going to click on eraser. You'll notice it's changed. And it says click to erase the vertical grid line in the first row. So this is my first row and it says the vertical grid line. So vertical is up and down. So I'm deleting this one. And you can see it looks like that now. There's no line in the first row. And then it says so click to erase it so that the row includes only 1 column. Click the eraser to toggle off the eraser and press escape. Okay, so I toggle off the eraser and press escape. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to first, before I do anything else, is I'm going to select this text right here. I'm going to cut it. So I selected this text and then I'm going to click up here and I'm going to paste it. Well, actually, let's push enter first and then paste it. So let's do, there we go. So you can see now it looked like it did before. I went and the table moved it down. So if yours the table moved down for some reason, just cut and paste. It's an easy way to fix it. Okay, we are on step I. Ensure the insertion point is located in the first row. So I click up here, first row. Here's my insertion point. Then it says type table to impact impact sources. Do not type the period, it says. Press tab and complete the table as follows. Do not press tab at the end of the last entry. So we're going to type this stuff in. I'm going to type it in. You can do that while I'm typing it in. It is in your textbook. Otherwise, if for some reason you don't have your textbook with you, you could wait till I'm done typing this and then just type it in yourself. Pause the video and type it in yourself. And then remember you're pushing tab after each one. Double check your spelling as you go or at the end of typing things in. Okay, so I've corrected my spelling mistake right there. Your table should look like this once you have finished it, typing in that info. I'm going to click so that way my insertion point's back where it was. Then it says, text you type may wrap within a cell. You'll resize the columns later, so leave the text as it appears. Step J, position the pointer just above the category column in Table 1. So just above the category column in Table 1. So I'm positioning it just above category column in Table 1 so that the pointer resembles a downward directed black arrow. And you can see here I have it right there, so just above. Then it says click to select the column, so I just did that. So I'll do it again here, black arrow, click, it selects the whole column. And then it says click delete in the rows and column group. Now I gotta go up here to my layout tab, and then over here in the rows and column group is the delete button. I click on that and I'm going to choose here, it says delete columns, and so I've gotten rid of this column here. Then it says step K, click anywhere in row 1 of table 1. So this is row 1 up here. Remember, rows are left and right, columns are up and down. Click insert above in the rows column group. So rows column group, insert above. I click that and it's going to add in a row. Click in the first cell in the new row and type table 1 top industry sectors. So table 1 top industry sectors. And then here in step L, it says point to the left edge of the horizontal grid line dividing sector 354 and from 589 to display an insert control. So I go in between the two, 354, 589. Oh, you know, I gotta go over here to the left side, excuse me. You'll see this plus line right here. This is what it's talking about, so the point to the left edge here. Click the indicator to insert a new row, and then click in the first cell in the new row, and it says type the following, press tab between cells. So I'm gonna move my mouse so you can see it. 215 retail interest 1 2 5 6 3 6 8 8. Okay, that's good. Step M, click anywhere in table 2. So I click anywhere in table 2 to select the table, point to the grid line dividing rows 1 and 2. So grid line 1 and 2. Click the insert, oh excuse me, I gotta go over here to the left. And then it says click the insert control to insert a row above row 2, employee compensation. So it should be inserted here. Then leave the row blank for right now. Step N, check spelling and correct for errors. I'm going to push F7, that's my hotkey to do that. It says here there are 0 results. My check is complete, so I'll exit out that. And then it says the Salida campus is spelled correctly, save the document. So I'm going to save it. I'm moving on here to step number 2 on page 282. Alright, it says here we're going to be working more with merging and splitting cells and changing row height and column width. Step A, position the pointer just outside the left edge of the first row of table 1. So just outside the left edge of the first row of table 1. So that resembles a right-directed diagonal arrow. Click to select row 1, so I just did that. Click Merge Cells in the Merge group on the Table Tools Layout tab. So I'm on the Table Tools Layout tab, and then it says I need to go to the Merge group. So I look for Merge group, right here's Merge group, and I choose Merge Cells. And you can see it put it all as one cell. It got rid of those borders. Step B, position the pointer in row 2 on the border between the first and second column of table 1. The pointer appears as a double-headed arrow. Drag to the left to reduce the column width to approximately 1 inch to better accommodate the contents of the column. So I'm going to click and drag to approximately, it says 1 inch, so a little bit more, about right there. And now you can see it's lined up. Position the pointer just outside, oh excuse me. So I did that one. That's step B. Step C, position the pointer just outside the left edge of row 2. Just outside the left edge of row 2. So 1, 2, just outside the left edge here. And click and drag down to select the remaining rows as well. So it should look like that. With the Table Tools Layout tab selected, which it is, click the top spin arrow beside height in size cell group. So cell size group right up here, and it says click the top spin arrow beside height to change the height to 0.3. So it's at 0.1 right now. I'm going to click twice to change it to 0.3. So it's going to adjust the height of the rows I have selected. So you can see our top row is not selected. Step D, position the pointer just inside the left edge of the third row of table 1. So third row of table 1 left edge. It says just inside the left edge. So I got that little black right pointing arrow. The pointer should resemble a right-directed black arrow. Drag down to select the contents of the first column in row 3 as well. So it says drag down to select the contents of the first column in row 3 as well. So you notice it's only selecting in this specific cell, these here with the black, when I have it just inside. When I have it out, it takes the whole row. This one just is the cell. Alright, then it says, oh excuse me, and it says to do it for all the remaining rows in that column. So I'm choosing all the numbers here. And then it says click split cells in the merge group. So up here merge group, I'm choosing split cells. Check to ensure that 2 displays as the number of columns and 5 displays as the number of rows. Make necessary adjustments. So ours is lined up correctly. If yours is a little bit different, you might want to check and make sure you have everything correct so far. It might mean something's a little bit off. Deselect merge cells before split. So that means I'm unchecking the box and click OK. Now we have that split right here. Alright, step E, click in the first cell on the second row in table 1 and type division after sector. Hang on, let me double check here and make sure. Oh, okay, so I'm typing in here. So I click up here, sector, and type in and division. I had to look for a second, make sure I had it right. Ensure that a space is included between the words sector and division. Type the data beneath, underneath the heading as follows using figure 3.1 or 3.9 as an example. So I'm going to type in this info. So you can see the other numbers are right. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use my number pad to type these in, and I'm just going to push the down arrow. So that your info should look like this. Alright, step F. Click in the second row of table 2. So second row of table 2. So I'm scrolling down to table 2. Second row, it's that blank row we made. Click split cells in the merge group. Here's my merge group up here. Layout tab is selected for table tools, and I'm choosing split cells. Ensure that 2 displays as the number of columns, which is right, and 1 displays as the number of rows. Click OK. And now we have that split. Place the pointer on the vertical grid line dividing the two columns in row 2. So I place my pointer here over it. The pointer displays as a double-headed arrow. That's right. Click and drag to the left to align the grid line with the vertical grid line in row 3. So I'm clicking and dragging, and I'm lining it up here with the other grid line. So now it looks the same. Alright, step G, type source, and then press tab and type description. So I clicked here in this cell, I type source, I press tab, and I type description. Step H, click the table move handle. So this is at the top left. So this is our table move handle right here. So table move handle. I click once to select the entire table. Then it says click the bottom spin arrow beside height. So here's my cell size group, height, and it says I'm going to click the down arrow here to reduce the height to 0.1 or 0.1. So I just click once on the down arrow and it switches it, and you can see it changed it. Then I'm going to save our document. Alright, we're getting closer. We got step 3 left to go. So final 2 pages, page 284. We're going to apply table styles. We're going to adjust the table position and alignment, and we're going to format the table text. Step A, select the second row in table 1. So I go back up here to table 1, says select the second row. I'm just going to move my mouse to the outside here, click once, and it selects the whole row. Then click Align Center in the alignment group. So I have to click on my Home tab. We know actually, I can do it right here. So I'm going to click Align Center. You'll notice the alignment's a little bit different with the table now that we can adjust the height within the cell. So Align Center is right here in the alignment group on the Table Tools Layout tab. That's one way to check too if which one it is the textbook saying which tab. Step B, click the cells containing numbers in the rightmost column of Table 1. So select these cells here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to click and make that black arrow appear, so just inside, and I'm going to scroll down and do it like that. So you can click, make that black arrow appear and do it that way. And then it says click Align Top Right in the alignment group. So alignment group up here, align top right. Click anywhere to deselect the cells. So I just click anywhere. Position the pointer on the right border of the rightmost column of Table 1. So that's about right here. Then it says, so that resembles a double-headed arrow. So I got that right there. Drag to the left to reduce the column so that the width is approximately 1 inch, better accommodating the contents of the column. So I click and drag it, and I'm going to bring it to just basically a little bit after 4 inches. And there you go. Fits better, is now about 1 inch. Then it says C, step C, select the second row in Table 2. It's very easy to get confused during these ones, so you're going to want to have your textbook out. So second row, Table 2. I click just outside of it to do that. Containing the column headings, click the Align Center in the alignment group. So up here, alignment group, Align Center. With the column heading selected, click the Home tab, so I still have these selected, and choose Bold in the font group. So font group, choosing Bold. Bold the contents of row 1 in Table 2. So row 1 in Table 2. So I'm just clicking up here, bold, same thing. Then what I'm going to do is step D, click anywhere in Table 1. Click the Table Tools Design tab, so Table Tools up here, Design tab. And it says click more in the Table Styles group. So you can see my table styles are up here, Table Styles group. The More arrow is right here, so this is the More arrow. I click on that. Now it's showing me all of my options here. Scroll through the gallery and select List Table 3 Accent 1. It says it's third row, second column under List Tables. So here's my list tables right here. I'm going to look at it again. Third row, 1, 2, 3, second column. And it looks like, okay, so it's actually this one right here. So it's going to change here sometimes with the textbook. So List Table 3 Accent 1 was actually just one row, one column over. I click on that. You can see it changes how my table looks. Then what I'm going to do is step E, click First Column checkbox in the Table Style Options group to deselect it. So Table Style Options group, I'm going to uncheck the first column text box. Click the Table Tools Layout tab. So Layout tab over here. So I have a Design tab and I have a Layout tab for Table Tools. It says select the second row in Table 1. So I'm going to go down here, click white arrow, select that. And then it says here click Align Center in the alignment group. Then step F, click the View tab and click One Page. So Zoom Group, One Page. Mine zoomed out here a little bit. To view the current page, note that the tables are not centered on the pages horizontally. So you can see that it's not centered horizontally. So what we're going to do is we're going to click 100% in our View tab. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see this better on the video. but you can do 100%. Step G, right click anywhere in table 1. So I right click, and then anywhere in table 1, select table properties. Table properties is close to the bottom, so it's third option from the top, or excuse me, third option from the bottom for where I was. Click center in the alignment group of the table tab. So table tab, alignment group, I'm clicking center, and then it says click OK, and now it's centered it with the page horizontally. Then it says repeat this technique to center table 2 horizontally. So I right click on the table, I go down to table properties, and then when it comes to the table tab and alignment, I click center and I click OK. And now you can see that's lined up with the center of the page horizontally. Remember, horizontally is left and right, vertically is up and down. And then step H is our last step, is save the document. So I click save here. Keep the document open if you plan to continue with next hands-on exercise. Otherwise, you can close it. Remember to submit this file right here, how you're supposed to, how you've been instructed to do so. And then of course you can either continue to the next exercise or do what you need to do. Great job following along. With tables, it is difficult at the beginning because it's such a new concept, but by the end of this chapter you should have it pretty well mastered as well. Have your textbook out because it helps you with sticking with the video and understanding the steps. If you didn't already, for this exercise I would definitely do that. Have it out for the other ones. Otherwise, have a great day.